folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Jason Levine.
Today we are taking a look at a new game called Council of Four from Cranio Creations. Now Jason would probably see this and go, interesting. I saw this and thought, boring. The box cover does not look interesting.
To me, box covers don't matter, and
But even the game board and all those pieces doesn't look that interesting either.
No, but it's a Euro, and I don't care about interesting looking games if it's got good mechanics.
Okay, well, at the same time, you weren't pushing my buttons to play this because Cranio Creations hasn't made like a really great Euro game I can think of. They've made some decent games, but not any Euros. Both of us would have probably pushed this to the top of our list if we had just looked into the designers of this game.
Yes.
Because they're the same guys who did Marco Polo and Grand Austrian Hotel. If I had known that, I'd have been like, we're playing this tomorrow. Because those guys are turning into some of my favorite designers. But does that mean this game's good? Let's look. The goal of this game is to get the most points, and you're going to be doing that by building emporiums in the different cities across the board. You're going to be doing that by influencing counselors. Now, there's a couple currencies in this game besides points. Players will have money that they'll keep track of down here as they get money. They're also going to have assistants. These are these vampire-looking guys. They're in currency of 1 to 3 assistants. You also have the noble track down here. Each player will start at the beginning, but you'll be moving on this noble track, and as you hit different spots on the track, you're going to get different rewards. Like, for example, here you get a free politics card and 3 points. And you'll get different rewards, and at the end of the game, whoever's farthest on that track will also get a bonus of 5 points. Now, like I said, the whole goal of this game is about building those emporiums. At the beginning of a player's turn, they're going to draw a politics card. Politics cards are simply different color cards. Orange, white, black, blue, purple, and pink, and then wild cards, which is all the different colors. So you're going to draw this and add one to your hand. Then the player has one quick action, which is optional. You don't have to take it in one main action. You can take the quick action before or after your turn, but it's that main action that's important. Now, one of the things you can do is you can affect one of these councils of 4. You can basically elect a new counselor. You take one of the available counselors next to the board, and maybe not all the colors will be there because they might be on the board, but let's say I want white. So I put white here, I push them in, and this guy gets kicked out. By doing that, I also get 4 coins. So that's one way to get money and influence on who's on each council. Now, why would you want to influence who's on a council? That's because I want to get a building permit. To get a building permit, I need to play cards that match the different counselors that are out there. The more cards I match, the cheaper it is to get a permit. You always have to play at least one card. But let's say, for example, I have black, blue, and a wild here. I'll make the wild match to white, and I'm missing 1 black card. So I have 3 cards that match, which is good. And on this board here, you'll see if I have 3 of the cards I need, I also need to pay 4 coins. If I had all 4 cards, it would be free to take a permit. If I have only 2, it would cost 7. If I only had 1, it would cost 10. So the more cards you have, the cheaper these are. When you take one of these permits, you're also going to get the bonuses on it. So for example, this one here gives me a coin and moves me 1 on the noble track. This one here gives me 2 assistants and a coin. Over here, this one gives me 5 points, move on the noble track, take 2 politics cards, move on the noble track. But they also have letters on them. Those letters correspond with the cities. Another main action that you can take is you can take one of your tiles and flip it over like this to show that you've used it. And now I can build an emporium in F, G, or H. Each city starts with one of those letters. So let's say I put it in F. I would put it here, and then I would get the bonus on that city. So for example, this city gives me 1 point and 1 card. Now what's interesting about this game is if you want to go to a city that someone else is in, you can do so. Each person can only have 1 emporium per city, but for each emporium that's already there, you have to pay an assistant. Assistants are kind of important for this purpose. So if blue is there and green wants to get in this one, he can do so, but he's going to have to pay 3 assistants. What I really enjoy about this game is when you place in a city, an emporium, you will also get the bonus of any emporiums that you have of connected cities. So if I place here, I would get 2 points plus another point and a card. So I'd get 3 points and a card. If I place over here, then I would get 1 point for this city, 2 points for this one, and a point and a card. Every city that you have connected. So the more cities you get on the board, you're going to be able to get some bonuses. Now I get a coin and 4 points and a card. And maybe I go over here. Now I get an assistant, a coin, 4 points and a card. And as you get this network growing, you're going to get more and more points that way. Also, as players build in cities, they're going to look at the bonus tiles down here. The first person to build in both of the blue cities is going to get 5 points. In all 3 of the red cities, 8. And of the gray cities, all 4 of them, 12. If you build in all 5 yellow cities, you'll get 20 points. Also, the first person to take any of these tiles will get the king's bonus of 25. The second person to take one gets 18, 12, 7, and 3. You also get bonus tile if you're the first person to build a city in every region. You'll take this one, which will also give you one of these king's favor tiles if there's any of those left. Now, let's say you don't, there's different things you can do. What if I want to build a city in a letter that's not listed here? I want to build it in I and there's no I. Well, you can pay an assistant as one of your quick actions to flush these and put new things out. But you can also use the king. One of these down here, and that's this one right here. This one here works with this province, but this one here is for the king. You'll see the crown next to this one. And if you pay these cards, you can then move the king. Moving the king is optional. You can leave the king where he's at. But you can move the king, paying 2 coins for each road that you move him on, and then immediately build a house in that city. You don't have to wait a turn like you do normally. Get a permit for one action, and then use the permit as another action. So moving a king around can let you drop houses around the board also. I mentioned the quick actions where you can use an assistant to wipe 2 of these and take 2 new ones. You can also, as a quick action, pay 3 coins to get an assistant. You can do the council here where you put a new one in and push another one out. As a quick action, just like a main action, but in the main action you get 4 coins, in a quick action you get no coins. And you can also pay 3 assistants to take another main action. So if you want to take 2 main actions, your quick action paying 3 assistants lets you take another main action. Now this is going to continue until one player has used and put their last Emporium on the board. That player is going to score 3 points for basically ending the game. Each other player gets 1 last turn. First and second place on a noble track is going to get 5 and 2 points. And whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. All right, what'd you think?
I really liked it. I think that these guys are on a hot streak.
Oh,
I think
man.
this game is fabulous. When you're on the board and you're worrying about connecting paths versus going for the victory points, because unlike other games that have collecting victory points like Thurn and Tactless or other games that do the same kind of getting areas and collecting, in that, if you get first, you get a certain point. If you get second, you get a certain point. In this, only the first place player gets it. So you really...
Oh, you mean getting the different city ones?
Getting the victory points. So you have to decide, am I going to get the 2 blue cities, or am I going to forget that and connect the path to get more bonuses? And it's a very, very difficult decisions, because if you go for something and someone else beats you to it, you get nothing. So you really have to be careful in what you do in this game.
You don't get nothing. You get at least the bonuses for those cities, I would hope.
Well, yes, but they're not connected, so you're not going to get the connecting path bonus and all of that.
You're right, and what's interesting about it is the first time someone scores those bonuses, let's say someone connects the blue cities. They're 5 points, and then they get 25 for the king's bonus. That's 30 points, and you're like, oh, we're never going to catch them. But you will. And that's what's neat. You can get those huge amounts of points, but as you spread and your bonuses start popping, it's like... And it's like all of a sudden at the end of the game, you're putting stuff down and scoring like 9 different cities. That's my favorite part, is watching those combos just pop.
And you're getting lots of those little vampire guys. I don't know what they're officially called, but they look like vampire
They're
guys
assistants.
to me. The assistants. Because they have these cloaks.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe this game should have been rethemed vampire, where you're spreading vampirism over Europe. The game, it really, really doesn't look that impressive. Although putting the little Council of Fours on the guys and knocking them off, that's fun.
It's a good mechanic, too. I mean, because you're kind of trying to line up yours to get the cheaper discount, and if you can match them all, you get it for free. But if you can't, you're sometimes going to want to throw in that money. I really like the mechanic of that. I like most of the mechanics of this game. I think they work well together and flow well together.
Yeah, one of the things I like is that buying things with cards. A couple things I didn't mention in the rules overview, but when you use a wild card, you have to pay an extra coin. And I like that rule a lot because it means wild cards are good. You're like, yeah, any color, but you pay for it. But the interesting thing about money is you're like, oh, I must get all 4 colors so that I can buy the thing. And then after a while, you're like, wait a minute. I don't actually need all 4 colors. I maybe 2 or 3, sometimes even 1 if I have the money, because I just need to get these things out.
Yep.
And at first you're like, why should I do the king? Because I can get the tile, which is a bonus, and then get another bonus. But the king can help you get stuff faster, which really matters in this game.
Yes, everything matters in this game, and just from the beginning to the end, it's well balanced. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. Like we were saying, these are the guys who made Marco Polo, and
yeah, we didn't even notice that. We're like halfway through, we're like, who designed this thing? And it's these guys. Yeah. No wonder we like this game so much.
And it's just everything about it. It's the way you map out on the board, the way you make the pads, the fact that you're either looking for cities on the 3 different boards, or you're looking to get all the cities in one board, because there are 2 different ways to score points in it. So I personally think that using one board and connecting and getting all the connections on the one board, because then you get the long connections, you get lots of bonuses, and you build up, and you can go up the path, and you can go up the arrow path and do all sorts of things. It's very, very, very good game.
Yeah, so for me, what's your awesomeness rating here?
On this one, awesomeness rating of 8.
Okay, and I agree. That is also my close. If it had cooler components and looked a little bit better, I might even bump it up to 8.5. But I'll tell you, I like this one because decisions are fast. I almost compare it. It's not the same weight as Ticket to Ride, but it has that same feeling. Your turn. All right, I'll switch accounts or take some money. I'm done. Oh, okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. Now I'm going to make my play. And it's fast turns, so you're never sitting around bored. You can go right away. What other players do affects you. I like taking the action beforehand or afterhand, those quick actions. Yep. Sometimes taking 2 actions on one turn. When you pull that off, it's a neat thing. Really solid game. Definitely recommend it.
Variable boards also. I like how the boards, you could flip-flop the boards. And
it was funny when we
front side, back side.
When we first put together, like, who cares if the board's variable? But once we realize about those chain bonuses, you're like, that's why the board is variable. Although there is an error on one of the boards. There's like a city's missing the square, but that's really a minor thing. You can still put the city there. But love it. Really good game.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.